I think the Democrats have gone totally crazy, and you don't know what they're going to do because they don't care about the people. You know, they've never done this before. They always agreed to go and, you know, called an extension. Let's do an extension and talk. Even today, look at what happened today. They don't want to pay the people that have worked.
That's President Trump yesterday as we enter day 24 of the government shutdown. No end in sight. Many federal employees are missing their first full paycheck today after the Senate failed to advance a pair of dueling bills yesterday, which would have kept some federal workers paid. Democrats John Fetterman, John Ossoff, and Raphael Warnock voted with Republicans to advance that bill, which was Ron Johnson's bill. Democrats are still demanding Obamacare subsidy extensions, while Republicans say they will not negotiate being taken hostage. They're not going to negotiate until the government is reopened. Joining me now is Florida Senator Rick Scott. Senator, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. This is now the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. The House is out of session this week. The Senate's trying to do its work. What can you tell us?
Well, it's so unfair. I mean, the Democrats shut down government. They shut down government over wanting to give health care to illegals. They have you pay for abortions and trans surgery. It's not about Obamacare. It's about free health care for millionaires. So here's the deal. Ron Johnson had a bill yesterday to say, look, let's just pay the people that are working. Our military, our TSA, Capitol Police, which is protecting us, FAA, all that. And the Democrats blocked that. But guess what? They want their pay. Democrats will not support, you know, I've got a bill, no budget, no pay. Every time I brought it up for a vote, the Democrats vote against that because they want to get paid, but they don't care about other people getting paid. How can you do that? How can you fly home and look at those TSA agents and says, I don't care about your mortgage as long as these senators get their mortgages?
Aren't you going to have to be able to take this on? I mean, there's some rumors now that the Republicans are saying amongst themselves, look, we're going to have to come up with something to get them to move. They're not coming to the table, and we're at day 24. As soon as people start calling in sick at air traffic control, at the airlines, and then, you know, flights are late, and there's massive lines in the airport, and it disrupts business for the American people, you're going to be stuck, aren't you?
Well, look, Republicans want people to get health care. I mean, we want people to get health care. Obamacare is a disaster. I mean, it's caused what they're doing is Democrats have supported this COVID era. It's supposedly only for COVID, these subsidies, to mask the cost of health care. That's what they've done. So let's fix it. I mean, we can fix health care pretty simple. Let's just say let people buy what they want to buy. If you're entitled to, you know, a subsidy under the original Obamacare, give it to you in cash so you're a buyer of health care. I had a hearing this week on shoppable services. You can buy health care cheaper many times if you just go buy it yourself rather than go through an insurance plan. So there's a way to fix these things, but Democrats don't want to fix things.
I understand what you're saying about health care. What gets me crazy and really upset is when I think about all of our reliance on communist China to make our pharmaceutical drugs, okay? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, President Trump has faced attacks for 10 years now, and his political enemies have been yelling, Russia, Russia, Russia. They made up this crazy story, this fantasy of Russia collusion. Look at the dereliction of duty that has taken place in the last 10 years. Why are we so reliant on communist China for our prescription drugs? The fact that we only make, what, 8% of antibiotics in this country? I mean, that's criminal. Okay, yeah. The fact that we've got 90% of our advanced semiconductor chips made in Taiwan, and China is about 3 seconds away from going in and reunifying with Taiwan. How long is this going to take to get the supply chains here? I know that you have a very important report out, and it is a report on America's dangerous over-reliance on foreign-made generic drugs. It's all the same.
Well, first off, you can go look at it at rickscott.senate.gov. But here's the deal. 80% of our generic drugs are made in India and China. Now, number one, just that, China could stop sending them to us and we'll be out of drugs within weeks.
Right.
But number two, 90% of the ingredients are from China. I mean, this reliance by our military, by each of us, if you're relying on a generic drug, and then guess what? The FDA has not done proper inspections. For years, of these plants overseas. So there's a study out of University of Indiana that you have a 54% increased chance of hospitalization and death if you take a generic drug from India and China. We need to have a plan to get this back into this country. You need to know what you're putting into your body. You need to know country of origin, like you do when you go buy a green pepper. You know where it's made. You need the same thing on generic drugs.
I know, but I mean, we're not there, and there's a dereliction of duty. You needed President Trump to get into the Oval Office to actually start putting a fire under corporate America's butts to say, get your supply chains to America. This is a national security issue. How come Congress didn't realize this was a national security issue over the last 10 years?
We've on all these important things to us, like you said, the semiconductors, everything. We have allowed our manufacturing to go to China, and nobody's done anything about it. So this is going to stop. Under President Trump, he is focused. It's going to happen. It's going to change.
So you have a confidence, Senator, that we can get this going, we can get those supply chains back in the next couple of years and not be reliant on our number one adversary. You believe that's possible. It's not going to take 3-5 years. You think it'll happen in the next couple of years?
You could do it. You could do it very quickly, especially on drugs. It's mostly produced by robotics now, so you absolutely can do this. But we've got to get the American industry to do their job, and then what we have to do as senators is make sure it happens. Americans want this.
Of course,
they don't want to be dependent on China.
I would love to see corporate America get on board with the national security concerns that President Trump has been identifying and detailing for the last 9 months. Meanwhile, the other issue that the president is focused on, and I know you and your colleagues are, is the national debt, surpassing $38 trillion for the first time.
38.
The fastest accumulation of $1 trillion outside of a pandemic. A Treasury Department analysis finds that the budget deficit is shrinking faster than expected, Senator, but look at that overall number. How are you going to get the debt down when you've got your colleagues pushing to spend another $1.5 trillion, partly on illegal aliens getting health care?
We have to balance the budget. We just have to say to ourselves what every family does is say, look, this is what our revenues are going to be. We're not going to spend more than that. I did it 8 years as governor. This is all doable. But we have to sit down and say we're not going to spend more than this. But it starts with passing budgets. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats would not even allow us to pass a budget. Right? They want to just spend, spend, spend. President Trump wants to balance the budget. He's working his butt off to reduce spending. Russ' vote is. But every day, the Democrats try to block us in reducing spending. It's what's ultimately going to cause more and more inflation. It's hurting the poorest families. The rich are going to do fine. The poor are going to hurt. They can't buy groceries. They can't buy cars. They can't buy houses. All these things have gone up at a price way faster than wages. So this has got to be fixed if we care about the poor families in our country.
Of course. All right. Well, we'll be getting the Consumer Price Index out this morning for the month of September. We'll see how inflation is doing right now. Senator, it's good to see you, and we will be watching your work. Thank you, sir.